the location configured, like the anomalies were removed and erased, and then it's like, procedure complete, location reconfigured. So basically, there's one part of them. It's kind of like if you're playing like a GTA game or something, and there's one part of the map that is really glitchy. And if you, like, say for example, if it wasn't on a disc or something, it was like, a full program like installed on a PC. If you went into the coding if you were able to go into the coding of the game itself and rewrite it, then you'd be able to fix those glitches, right? And that's exactly what the Matrix does in this. And then, like, the next scene, we see the kids and Yoko return to the building to find that they can't recreate the phenomena anymore, and they just give up and walk away. So really, that was a glitch that happened in the Matrix itself, and they were able to, just sort it out and then, not say any more. And then the kids are just like, hey, we were able to do all this really weird stuff. And then, because there's like a couple of kids there, like one of them's on a bike, and like obviously he's a skeptic because his mate said, yeah, I can do this. If we go to the haunted house, we can do stuff. Do stuff that you can't normally do because of physics. But because the area has been reconfigured, they can't do it anymore. But yeah, that's that one. We're on to the penultimate short now. So coming towards an end. This one I didn't really like very much. Again, it's not canon. I tend to really only enjoy the ones that are canonical, with the exception of the last short. But essentially, this one's called A Detective Story. The story follows a private detective named Ash, who is contacted by agents and tasked with the job of tracking down Trinity. Now he becomes aware of the three other detectives who were hired for the same job before him, and one of them went missing, the other one committed suicide, and the other one went mad. And he tries to talk to the one that went mad, but he just wasn't able to get anything substantial out of him, or at least he thinks he wasn't able to. But essentially, Ash eventually is able to track Trinity down, and she basically lays like a couple of riddles down to that. If he can follow and solve these riddles, then he'll be able to find her, and eventually he does on a train. But after following these riddles, he's thinking to himself, right, well, what is going on? Who are you? Sort of thing. It's a shame that they weren't able to get any dialogue going, because agents suddenly appear on the train and start chasing them down and having a shootout. And I guess that they were actually tracking the bug that was put in his eye, because basically Trinity retrieves a bug from his eye. Kind of like how Trinity got the bug out of Neo's navel. No, the agents bugged this guy's eyeball, because so apparently he had a dream that he had an eye exam, when in fact he was kidnapped by agents and a bug was put in his eye. But then we see an agent try to overwrite Ash, and Trinity realises she can't let an agent take him over, so she's forced to have to shoot him. And he starts. It's kind of because this story is sort of like even though it's all of these are animated in some fashion or other, this is done in the sort of film noir style, where there's sort of like echoey saxophone jazz music playing in the background, and there's like a it's like the detective himself doing the narration, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, he takes the bullet and obviously he starts dying. But they leave on good terms, and she actually says, for what it's worth, I think you could have handled the truth. So in a sense, Trinity was making use of the detectives who the agents were trying to send her way to track her down. And my guess is that the one that disappeared was really, I think she was able to unplug him. The guy who committed suicide, well, it depends how he committed suicide. If it's similar to how Michael Popper did, then that was possibly something. But the other one that went mad, obviously, not. But yeah, I mean, I didn't care much for that particular one, so I haven't really got much to say about it, really. But moving on to the very last one now. So, this is the last one in the series. This one is called Matriculated, and the word matriculated means being added to a list or a group, or saying to register or join something. And this definition will become more apparent as we go along. And in fact, if for those of you who are familiar with the film itself, the audio that you heard at the beginning of this podcast, just after the intro footage, this was a scene that was taken from this short itself. So as you'll know, this story follows a group of humans who deliberately capture machines in the hope that they can convert them to side with humanity. Now, 2 runner machines are baited, but one of them is deactivated, while the other is stunned and prepped for insertion into their own matrix environment that's specifically designed for their aims. Because basically, this group, they all plug in together with the machine and then send him through all these experiences. But just as the audio clip that you heard, 2 of the characters discussed the efficacy of their projects, and it suggested, the reason why I included this is because it's suggested by the male scientist that the machines must join or cooperate with humanity of their own free choice. Yeah, and this is this is something that when I saw this towards the end of the film, it validated completely what I'd been saying all the way through the Second Renaissance. I kept saying to myself, no wonder they rose up against us. No wonder they rose up against us. And I was saying, in order for a peaceful coexistence to exist between man and machines, yes, machines, they are effective tools, but if you imbue them with sentience, then you have to give them a choice, because otherwise what you would be doing is making them slaves. But yeah, it's they essentially what this thing was trying to do was to imbue them with free will, as it were, or just the freedom from its programming, because so it can make its own choice what to do. But yeah, the idea of converting a machine whose programming is really, because if it's just a search and destroy programming, just like the Sentinels, and and the runner robot is like another different class of Sentinel, then really what they're doing is actually a good thing by, showing them, positive human experiences. Because the thing is, I've tried to watch, Matriculated quite a few times to sort of think about because there's a lot of different things that aren't completely clear. It's not necessarily so much about what you see, but rather what the machine would experience as it goes through these things. I mean, if any of you have seen this and and can recognise some of these symbolisms, and you can help me out here. But yeah, essentially the machine is inserted into their matrix, and while it starts, it first starts out where they're all around, and they sort of just go off into like their own sort of like doorways and stuff. He tries to go over and sort of like kill them straight off because it's still a slave to its program. But it gets put through all these weird exercises, and and eventually it sort of becomes because it first starts off, its avatar is just like what it is, except it's sort of golden coloured. But after a while, it keeps going through these different experiences, and it becomes a sort of humanoid avatar with a weirdly shaped head, and it's still got 4 eyes shaped in a diamond, but along with that, I think it's like a centipede. It's like a black centipede that's like crawling on its arm, and my guess is that is that sort of represents that he's taken on a human form because he's in this environment that inspires humanistic behaviours. So it's adopted a humanoid form, but it's also sort of got its programming homicidal machine programming with it, and I think that's why it's alluded to with a black centipede. But yeah, he sort of like puts it in a container, and then that container is sort of like branches out because I think partly what they're doing is to try and show the machine the positivities of humanity, but also trying to show how violent and destructive its programming is. Because there's a scene where he's got like this, he finds like this glass box that has a sort of network of vessels inside it that that sort of look like a tree, and he basically puts the centipede in that, and then it just starts growing and growing and growing, and and it starts reacting in fear, and then one of the human characters like emerges to sort of try to rescue him, and he tries to get rescued, but gets overwhelmed by this like growing mass of sort of root structures, and I think that's intended to show that the human experience is a positive one, and the machine experience is a negative, violent, destructive one. So it goes through all this, and but the thing is, while they're all still plugged in, the laboratory itself comes under attack from sentinels, and they have to all unplug to try and defend themselves. The machine itself stays plugged in because it's still like, what the hell is this? I mean, so it doesn't necessarily realise that, but then it recognises that it's all that everyone's all left, and it's able to disconnect itself, and it's realising that because the female character, I can't remember Alexa is the name of the female character. She keeps appearing in this environment towards him and sort of like coaxing him towards different things. And obviously she's naked as well in this for some reason. Because all the human characters, they're naked, but they've got like, transparent skin. But I can't remember if you can see their organs, but you can see like the blood vessels and stuff. It's just really weird. It's kind of like the those paintings that I think like they're paintings that are done by people on DMT, I think, or something, and they draw these wonderful multicoloured sort of pictures of human beings, and you can see they're transparent on every single level, like transparent skin, but you can still see the sort of outline of the skin, transparent muscles, and you can see all the organs, and you can even see the skeleton in there. Those kind of things. It's kind of similar to that. How all these humans, exist, because they've deliberately created the Matrix for this sort of purpose, and the Sentinel, it now becomes, it starts seeing all these humans around it being killed, and it sees the other Sentinels going back and forth, and then it becomes, it becomes converted, as it were, and instead of it having red eyes, the eyes change to green, and that's supposed to symbolize that it's no longer evil. It's now, it's now a good guy, and it sees Alexa being attacked by a Sentinel, comes to her rescue, destroys that Sentinel, and the machine feels a connection to her because he's been in this environment with her, and she's shown him things that it's shown it things that has changed it. There's permanently changed it, or seemingly permanently changed it. So it thinks that the only option is to connect her back into this Matrix environment to try and maybe buy some time or something, maybe some way to keep the mind alive, because obviously it recognised this Matrix environment as a positive environment. So, would you rather die of physical wounds in the physical world, or would you rather just fade away as an avatar in a Matrix environment that you specifically created to bring up, connection and empathy and joy? But the thing is, Alexa's dying already anyway, and it manages to connect both it and Alexa back in. But as soon as Alexa realizes, she's back in the Matrix environment, but she's stuck there with the machine. I don't know, I can't understand exactly why this would happen, because, for one thing, their aim was to convert machines, and the machine wasn't acting malevolently towards her, and it had the green eyes. But for some reason she starts screaming and holding her head, and her avatar disappears, and she's dead in the real world. So what's left is, it's. The Wikipedia article on this taught me the new word, the Pyrrhic victory. A Pyrrhic victory is essentially where it seems like a victory, but the cost is so high that it's almost equivalent to a flat-out defeat. That's what a Pyrrhic victory is, and this short closes just with the converted robot just looking out over the sea. It's got green eyes, and it's out of the lab, and So what happens to that runner robot from now on? No one knows. But anyway, that's my review of the Animatrix film. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope I haven't bored you too much or laid down too many spoilers. Well, I've laid down all the spoilers because I've told you everything. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Just the usual announcement for those of you listening to us on YouTube. Please, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and those who aren't listening to this on YouTube, please go to www.youtube.com/AAUTZM. That's my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and share my videos around, because I'd really like to like my videos to have more views, because the people who have seen my video have given me really positive feedback, and a lot of people have really appreciated the stuff that I've done. So I'd like as many people as possible to appreciate it. But that aside, the other regular regular plug is see if you can get hold of your own copy of the Zeitgeist Movement Defined. It's our orientation guide, which is a collection of 23 essays, and all this explains exactly what the Zeitgeist Movement advocates. You can find the link to how you can find the orientation guide itself at thezeitgeistmovement.com/orientation. There you'll find all the details that you'll need to get hold of it. If you want a physical copy, you can either buy one at an event like I did, or alternatively on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, Lulu.com, and also Bookpatch.com. You can buy it there, or alternatively download it for free on PDF from thezeitgeistmovement.com/orientation. That's that. But also my other plug for my sponsor. This podcast was brought to you by phallasync.com. So please consider, getting a fallacy on your back, and just give you an incentive to, stretch your back every now and then. But if you go to www.phallasync.com/letmebeyourfallacy/Adam and enter the code name AAUTZM, you can get 40% discount on all new tattoos. I'm considering maybe getting, an example of an ad hominem fallacy across my chest. So I can just proudly display it like the mark of L. But anyway, that's that. So thank you very much for listening, guys. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to have for next time. I've emailed Adam Kokesh to ask him to come on to explain how he personally deals with authority figures, because I've noticed that with a lot of his videos, he is so masterful in behaving around the police that he's able to just completely embarrass them, and I just love to just pick his brain about ideas that he can give for all of us, where we can also have that same fortitude and courage to deal with the police. Because I'm sure there are some people who are activists or would want to be activists if it weren't for the fear that they have about police officers and other enforcement employees. But that aside, that's the podcast. So thank you very much for listening, guys. I hope you go to phallasync.com and get a fallacy. You need to get that in your life. Even though I hate that phrase, I have to use it because the sponsor calls for it. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Take care.